Welcome Flyer fans, we are here looking at a Silver Flash. This is a 481 and this is one that has been on my to-do list for a little while. As you can see, it's other than a little bit of dust, it seems to be in pretty good shape. I went ahead and applied power. I hear the reverse unit flip, and after a little bit of time it started to move. So that's always a good sign. It doesn't move super fast, but at least it's moving. Or does it move fast? Well, maybe it's starting to loosen up a little bit. It's hard to know for sure how long this one's been inactive. But it's always encouraging when the reverse unit switches and the engine actually moves under its own power. So the next thing I'm going to do is take this over to the bench and remove the shell and the side frames and lubricate everything very well. And since it's moving this well, I think hopefully just lubrication will be all this needs, and maybe a little cleaning, and it'll be ready to roll. So I don't know if you can already tell this, but we have single motor. So that's different than a lot of the Alcos that I've shown on this channel. This chassis is also a little different than the Alcos because there's not a motor on this end. The metal is a lot closer to the edge of the chassis. It's a little bit more like a GP7, although different. Okay. There's no date stamp in here. I was trying to remember or say from memory what year these were made, and I want to say it was 55, 56, but I'm not sure I can be completely trusted. So this has diesel roar, which reverse unit, and and it's also got the horn in it. So there's quite a bit going on in this little guy. Someone had put an on-off switch in here. Now I did not do this, although this looks exactly like the kind of jobs that I do. So let's just go ahead and see if we can get any noise out of this thing if we turn it on. Hey, check that out. Working like a champ. So you can have the diesel roarer when the engine's at neutral, because it's got the 4-position reverse unit. So this is just a real special treat to have everything actually work. The reverse unit's working, the motor's working, the diesel roar is working, and I have done nothing to it. This is cause for great celebration. One other thing I want to do is add a little bit of lubrication. There's just really no grease on this thing to speak of. So one thing I've started doing, I'm still after a better grease combination. Where is here it is. So I used to use a really lightweight grease. I still have it, food grade grease. Nothing wrong with it, other than it just didn't stick. And so when I'd put it on gears, it just would soon be gone. And if it left much lubrication behind, it was hard to tell. Went to lithium, which has a little bit more sticking power. But I just wondered, I've seen people use some colored grease. There's a red grease, there's a purple grease, and those seem to stick really well. And I happen to think of something, and that is I have some Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer. And so on a couple different engines so far, I've put just the smallest amount of this stuff on, and then put the lithium and a tiny bit of oil. So it's kind of a combination lubricant. And what this stuff tends to do is it tends to help it stick. So again, time will tell if it's going to be a problem. If over time it'll get super hard and actually be counterproductive. But I'm talking about very, very minute amounts. So I think I'll try that on this guy too, and we'll just give it some time and see how it fares. So, all right. So for starters, and when I say a small amount, you will notice that I'm not kidding when you see how little I put on the gears. There you go. Now this stuff is pretty stringy, so you can see it's got some stickiness to it, but that's it. Just a tiny amount. I'm going to spread it around as much as I can. I'm going to add just one more drop here. It's not even a real drop, I guess, kind of a partial drop, because once it starts to come out, I'm kind of scraping it off the pouring nozzle. So a very, very small amount. And the reason I started doing this is because I was remembering how I've been in auto parts stores, and they'll have like a plexiglass display with some gears in it and a crank, and they'll have one that just has regular motor oil in it, and then another that has this Lucas stuff in it. And you'll see as you turn the gears with the Lucas on, it actually is staying on the gears. So that's kind of what I'm going after here and what I was remembering. So again, put a tiny bit of Lucas on there, and we're going to put a tiny bit of lithium on there. It's more than I wanted. Okay. Then I'll take just some lightweight oil and add a tiny bit on top of my 2 layers of goop. 1 drop there. Also going to do on the axles. I'm going to come up in here behind the commutator to try and get that bushing. Okay, so there is that. Try not to put the headlight in the grease. Now let's go ahead and apply some power here. I'm going to turn the diesel roar back off. And let's just see if we can tell that it's making any difference in terms of things being a little quieter. So apparently I can't use an alligator clip today. Now, I don't know how well the sound or lacks of sound is coming through, but it is amazingly quiet. Wow. So again, that's kind of what I was hoping would happen. Now, just a quick inspection. What do we see? I don't see, stuff gooped up. It's actually not splattered. Again, because that Lucas is so sticky, I think it really helps stuff stay where you put it. So in my experience, if I've just put lithium, I usually find the lithium kind of thrown all over the place, and usually on either side of the gear. and I don't really know how well it's sticking to the actual teeth of the gear. If I put oil on, and just oil by itself, usually I find it throwing off. It's thrown everywhere. So that means, again, it's not really staying where I put it. Now, I'm sure it's making some impact, but adding this Lucas, I think, might have some potential to help things kind of stick. So again, time will tell, but we'll come back to this guy over the next few months and years and just see how it's running.